Hey guys, Iamblichus' Exhortation to Philosophy text, chapter 9, continuing. In this part of the chapter, he talks about the order of generation. He says there are things, and things are created for the sake of the body. The body is created for the sake of the soul, and the soul is created to contemplate and develop wisdom. And he doesn't say it in this chapter, I think, but later on we discover, either in this text or another Neoplatonic text, I don't remember exactly, in the structure we start to discover that from wisdom we can then start to get glimpses of God. Because if wisdom is on the level of the intellect, then above that is the level of the One. And I think either in this text or in some subsequent texts in this video series, I remember someone, either Iamblichus or one of them, says, if you develop wisdom and then your job is to basically await for the light to come through, and that light will be light of the One, and you cannot influence it, you cannot force it, you kind of just have to await for it to come. But our job is to develop wisdom. So here Iamblichus says this is the order of generation in the nature, the big nature. And the purpose of the human is to develop wisdom. And when this purpose is achieved, the human then makes all other things good. And this is very simple to understand why. Because wisdom is the choice, essentially, between one and another thing. And how do we choose whether to do this or that, or to get this or get that? The best choice is the one which has most good in it for us. So naturally, if we develop this ability, wisdom, which is already present in the soul, as we know, we just need to align ourselves to it. As Iamblichus says, we need to kind of like point ourselves to it. By the path of virtue, by the path of self-control, by the path of study of philosophy. As I explained in the previous videos in this series. If we do that, then the more we align ourselves to wisdom, the more and more we start to think in a way which sees the good in things, act in that way, behave in that way. And naturally, this makes all other things good. It makes our thoughts filled with good, and we believe thoughts which have more good in them than those which do not. Our words become more filled with the good, because it would not be wise for us to say things which are untrue or which are hurtful. And by developing wisdom, we can tell the difference. This is my interpretations now. Iamblichus does not explain it like this, in this sort of small detail. And ultimately, it makes our actions good. Iamblichus just says it makes all other things good. And this is how I understood what he means by that. By our thoughts, behaviors, words. And of course, the results of our actions will be filled with more good, the more we are wise. So again, with this, he's trying to motivate us to study philosophy. And not just study it, but to live it. Remember that there are two parts to philosophy, the theoretical and the practical. The theoretical is studying of this material, and the practical is the, essentially, as I understand it, the path of virtue and self-control and purification practices, meditations, mantras, and so forth. So that's it. I'll meditate now for 15 seconds, and you click on the video if you want, that will appear on the screen.